I hope what I share today will really resonate and encourage you to take the next step forward. Not because you're not grateful for the life you have had thus far, but because you know that you're meant for more. You're meant to do something differently. You are deserving of whatever you desire. Hey y'all, my name's Jen. I'm a health and life coach on a mission to empower women, and this season I call the messy middle. We believe it's never too late to dream your wildest dreams and to build lives freed from the shoulds and have-tos. Here, we talk to ourselves like we do our girlfriends and our sisters and daughters. I will share stories and resources with lots of encouragement and a little bit of tough love to drive you toward action. In this podcast, we talk about everything: career, relationships, motherhood, and health. So grab your sneakers and let's go, because she's wild and freed. Welcome back to another episode of She's Wild and Freed. I am your host, Jen, and I hope you have been having a fantastic week so far. This is actually a continuation from the previous episode that I shared that I lost my job and that I knew through feeling restless, listening to podcasts, grounding myself, and a lot of exploration, that I needed to do things differently. I think many of us, and maybe you specifically, are stuck in a rut. You have your routines, you've figured out what works, and you keep doing that thing. And this could be in your career, family dynamics, with friends, and in even your personal care routines. And routines are great in some respects because you know what you're doing, how you're doing it, and even how long certain things take. For example, most of us have a morning routine. You know precisely when you need to get up, how long you need to shower, how much time it takes to eat or to grab something on the go, and how long it takes to commute to work or drop your kids off at school, et cetera, et cetera. Of course, that's just one example, and I'm sure you can think of many areas in your life that you have a routine. These work really well for us. They help us maintain our lifestyle, sometimes our sanity, and most of all, allows us to structure our days and have guardrails within them. I am a big fan of structure and guardrails. So much so that I've realized that these guardrails are keeping me stuck. How about you? Let me know. Reach out to me. Let me know if you're feeling this feeling of being in some kind of rut or feeling stuck and what you're trying to do to get through it. Of course, I'm going to talk to you today about some ideas or things you could do as well. But anything that I've said so far, does that resonate with you? You're feeling restless or feeling like you want to break out of your routine or a proverbial box. That voice or feeling inside of you is growing louder and louder to do something different. You're just feeling like something's not right. I have been feeling that way for a while now. I push that voice aside. I make sure that other thoughts and feelings are louder and they drown my intuition out. I focus on what is working and what I'm comfortable with. Like, I really like my comfort zone a lot. How about you? The thing is, within our comfort zone, we miss a lot of experiences and frankly, we miss out on fun. I have become so rigid and focused on living and working within my comfort zone that life feels like it's passing me by. And I don't want to feel that way anymore. In the last episode, I mentioned that I had heard on another podcast that the average life expectancy for us is 76 years old. I am still reeling from that. Before I go on, though, I have to say I have had a wonderful life. Oh my gosh, that just sounds like the movie that we watch around the holidays, but it's true. I'm really, really grateful for the life I've lived so far, for the people who have helped me and influenced me along the way. My parents provided a good life for me. They nurtured and supported me along the way. I just said along the way twice, but they did. My previous jobs and bosses enabled me to grow within my career and make an impact on so many people. And my children are the absolute best, and I couldn't have done any of that or had the life that I had without their dad. So I'm truly grateful, and I know that I have had a wonderful life. And now I find myself where I need to pivot. And maybe you're there too, or maybe you feel like something is just bubbling up inside of you. If so, I hope what I share today will really resonate and encourage you to take the next step forward. Not because you're not grateful for the life you have had thus far, but because you know that you're meant for more. You're meant to do something differently. You are deserving of whatever you desire. And this may sound a bit Pollyannish, and I'm okay with that. But I'm at this point where I'm in a transition from working full-time for someone else. I'm assessing my finances and building and creating a business that I know will impact so many. I believe I am right where I'm supposed to be. That doesn't mean I don't need to make tough decisions. It doesn't mean that I'm not scared as hell, because I am. But I also am not naively going to keep existing where I push off ideas, where I think I'll start when I have this in place, or I'll wait to do that. Maybe you relate to those statements, or you think I'll do that renovation to the kitchen when I get that raise or promotion, or I'll wait to schedule that vacation till next year. I want to try that class or go to that gym, but I got to lose some weight first before I get in there. I would love to have that job, career, or business, but maybe when the kids get older, or maybe where I get to this point. Anyone else feel like they're waiting for something or waiting to do something? I was really affected by the events and destruction of Hurricane Helene in Western North Carolina. I have many friends and family in that area. I attended college in Boone, North Carolina, and lived there after college. And before we moved to the coast, we were actually really focused on moving back to the mountains, focusing in on Asheville or Hendersonville areas. Because I freaking love that area. I love the people. I love the fresh air and just the energy of that place. The destruction and devastation in that area is incomprehensible to me. And I can't begin to know what it feels like to lose my home, my business, or even access to basic needs like water. And that's what's really stuck with me. In an instant, I could lose everything. You could lose everything. It's a shock to the system, really. it made me look around at my life, my material things, and reevaluate what's truly important to me. I haven't read this book, but I've heard a lot of people speak to it or reference it, and it's called The Top 5 Regrets of the Dying. And if you Google it, you can actually see those top 5 regrets. The number 1 regret of the dying, according to the book and the research conducted by Bronnie Ware, they said, I wish I'd had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me. And then the 5th one is, I wish I had let myself be happier. Well, my wild friend, I don't know about you, but I don't want to feel regret at the end of my life. Or if I come to a place where I lose everything, whether it be due to a natural disaster, sickness, divorce, job loss, you fill in the blank. I want to know that I did the things that were fulfilling, impactful, and brought me joy. What about you? This is a call to action. I'm calling myself out and you. What can you do today that can move you toward your dream life? What action can you take? And I mean action, not just research or planning or daydreaming. What action can you take that moves you forward in a way that lights you up, that gives you energy and joy? I am quickly interrupting today's episode to invite you, when you're ready, to schedule a discovery call with me. So if you're curious about working with me as your coach, or just curious as to what health and life coaching really entails, schedule a call with me. The link is down in the show notes. It's a Calendly link, and it'll take you to when I have availability to schedule an appointment. Even if you are not ready or just a little curious about what it's like to work with me, I promise you that this conversation is really impactful, and we have a lot of fun in the hour we schedule together. This is complimentary, so it doesn't cost you anything except for an hour of your time, and it's there for you when you're ready. So come on, schedule that appointment with me. I would love to talk with you and explore what you want and how to get you there. All right, back to the episode. This call to action is also permission to make mistakes. Do something messy. Release yourself from wanting to control and know the outcome. Things happen. We mess up sometimes. Sometimes this is the biggest block for me. I don't want to do something wrong or something that could cause me or others pain or worry. But taking no action is causing me pain and worry. I'm stewing on actions that I could take. I'm stewing on the things that haven't happened yet, but I'm worried about them. I feel like I'm in a safe place here, but what about you all? Are any of you worriers? A good practice for when you start stewing or worrying or questioning if you can do something, or if you're wondering if it's the right thing, is to reflect on actions and steps you've taken in the past. Things you didn't know would work out. Things that you thought were scary or even impossible. Another thing you can do is think about a time when you tried really hard at something, or you took a chance and you didn't actually get the outcome you wanted, but it turned out you got something even better. When I reflect on these things, I always go way back to when I was a child. Different times in my childhood when I tried things and failed. Then I tried them again and again. And with practice, I got better and succeeded. Like learning to ride a bike. I think we can all relate to that one. Or think about something that didn't work out that I wanted, but in the long run, the outcome was way better. The example that's popping into my head right now is about cheerleading. I started cheerleading when I was in elementary school, and we cheered for the rec sports, mainly football. Then in junior high, I tried out and I made the cheer squad. Cheered for both football and basketball seasons. And it was super fun to be with my friends. I loved the cheering, and I was a small person on the squad. So usually I was at the top of the pyramids and was a leader on the squad. Then my family moved and I changed schools and went to a new high school. I tried out twice for cheerleading and didn't make it. I felt so sure that I should be on the squad and didn't understand why I didn't make it. Although in my teenage brain, I decided that I just wasn't one of the popular girls, so that's why I didn't make the squad. But that opened a door for me to join the cross-country team. And you don't have to try out for the cross-country team. You just have to start running. What's so cool, though, is that is a habit and exercise that I have continued into my adulthood. At the time, I thought I hated running. I thought running was the worst thing to do. But I've developed a love for that activity, and it didn't just create a great habit or activity for me to stay fit and healthy, but I made some really good friends that I am still friends with today. I also got to feel the joy and energy that's hard to describe, but some people call it that runner's high. And it's real, y'all. For those of you who don't like running or don't think you can run or don't understand the runner's high thing, all I can say is try it. If you're not a runner or if you don't run, quote unquote, it may take a little while to get into that place, to feel good when you're running. But once you get into the groove, you may love it. Of course, always consult a medical professional before you start anything like a new fitness or diet routine. But think about it. Maybe it's time to throw on those sneakers and get going. This is one of many examples in my life where I tried something and the outcome was really different than what I expected or thought I wanted. What about you? Sit down and think for a moment about a time when you tried something. It was scary, or you thought you knew what was going to happen, and the outcome was better than you expected. It's important to remember where we've come from to help us go to where we want to go. The main point of this message today is that I want us to really consider how we're showing up in our daily lives. I want you to build awareness around your routines or structure and think, is this really it? Is this what I dreamed about? There are so many things you can do right now to shift towards a life of fun, excitement, joy, and peace. And these things don't have to cost anything. Going back to childhood, think about what you loved doing as a child. Maybe it was watercolors. Maybe you really liked swimming. Maybe you loved walking with your family after dinner. You could start that tradition tonight. No phones, just you and your partner, kids, dog, whoever, and just go for a walk. Or if your family's not close, consider walking with a friend. My friend texted me the other day and asked if I wanted to go for a walk at lunch or later in the day. She just needed a break, and honestly, it was perfect timing because I did too. Moving yourself out of your current situation or just in that space, even for just a few moments, can really shift you out of a rut that you may be in and help you see things more clearly. Also, just spending time with people that you care about, people you enjoy being around, just is so great for your mental health. And yes, you may think, oh, walking outside for 5, 10, 30 minutes, I mean, that's temporary. That's just a short time. I'm living in this place right now, or I'm experiencing this, but you could always do it again the next day. The final thing I want to leave you with today is a practice that I started, and coincidentally, the morning, or maybe not so coincidentally, the morning that I was laid off, I did this, even though I didn't know anything was coming, or maybe I did intuitively. This practice is called grounding. You may have heard about this, or you practice it yourself, but for anyone who has not heard of it or tried it, this is a practice where you go in nature. This can be out in your yard. If you don't have a yard, if you're in like an apartment situation or somewhere, you can always go to a local park. You take your shoes and socks off and stand still with your feet on the ground. Bare feet, just touching the earth. I like to do this where I can stand and really feel the sun on my face, and then I close my eyes. An amazing sense of calm comes over me, and I always smile when I'm doing it. You can ground in for a minute or as long as you want or need. Grounding is a practice that really helps calm me when my inner Energizer bunny is just going off. And it allows me to use my senses instead of my brain that's going 100 miles a minute. When you ground, notice what you hear, smell, feel, or see if you have your eyes open. Notice anything about your surroundings. Notice how your heart rate slows, your breathing regulates. This is an amazing tool to have in your toolbox. So how will you take action today to do something differently? How will you go outside of that proverbial box? What will you do not only to make yourself happy and fulfilled, but also scares you a little? How can you be wild? Maybe it's grounding. Maybe it's lacing up your sneakers and going for a run. Maybe it's time to spruce up your resume. If you are enjoying these episodes, I want to hear from you. You can leave a 5-star review on the platform you're listening on. You can message me through Instagram and Facebook, but I want to know if the topics that I cover, the messages that I share, if they're resonating with you. I also want to know if there's topics or information that you'd like for me to share going forward. I just love hearing from you all and interacting with you as you're going through this journey. Thanks for listening. Thank you so much for spending time with me. I hope you feel free to take action toward building the life of your dreams. If something in this episode resonated with you, I would so appreciate it if you would text it to a girlfriend so she can hear the message as well. Until next time, stay wild.